And speaking of promo codes that you could plug, Jay Arnold is on now with us. Jay, what's up, man? And by the way, what's the promo code for Aggie Warpod?
The promo code for Aggie Warpod is WHOOP. That's WHOOP. You know, my voice is a little bit hoarser than usual. Uh, Playing hurt today, I went to the Penn State Whiteout this weekend and had a great time up
Oh,
there.
whoo, man! I was gonna say
What a
you're
game.
not too you haven't been crying too much about the Connor Wigman news, have you?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm bummed for Connor,
Yeah,
but no, I mean, A&M's kind of in a lucky position that they have a quarterback as a backup as good as Max Johnson.
yeah. So we were kind of talking a little bit about that. Obviously a huge blow because it looked like last year the hype was that okay, Connor Wigman looks like the guy and he looks like somebody potentially who could take this offense if it clicks under Bobby Petrino to new heights. Obviously, huge blow to him, but you mentioned it, Max Johnson, particularly last week. I think this system, and to me, this is why you hire Bobby Petrino, not only to get the best out of a Connor Wigman, but to also make the overall position better. And do you think you saw enough to where you have confidence in Max Johnson to where the floor, the ceiling may not be there with Connor Wigman, but the floor is now also raised?
No, I think the floor is definitely raised, and a big part of that too is the weapons that A&M has around the quarterback. I mean, you look at the receiver guys like Evan Stewart and now Jake Johnson as a tight end.
Mhm.
There's just so many weapons around, and I Smith. I mean, it's it feeds in that Bobby Petrino offensive philosophy of feeding the studs. And I think with Max Johnson coming in, you're not going to have as much of a drop off as you would think.
Jay, I want to ask you about the defensive side of the ball for A&M. Mike Craven, your podcast co-host, dropped kind of a scathing column a bit about the DJ Durkin issue with Texas A&M. What are your thoughts on this defense early in the season, and maybe what can we expect from them?
Yeah, I mean, so DJ Durkin and his philosophy, it felt like he was trying to have more of a bend but dope break approach in the first few games, and against Miami, they went to a bend and break approach. Uh, but against Auburn, I was a little bit encouraged by the performance because it seemed like he allowed the defensive line to get after the quarterback a little bit more than they have. It worked out to the tune of 7 sacks and 15 tackles for loss, which helped limit an Auburn offense that isn't particularly great. But there are some positives that you can take away from that. I still think that there's some problematic approaches in DJ Durkin's defensive philosophy, but I do think he allows the defensive line to kind of pin their ears back, get some penetration, get upfield a little bit more. It can help make up for some of the issues in the back end.
Looking a little bit at this Arkansas game, you've played in this rivalry. Like it always seemed like, even when things were going south or perceivedly going south for A&M under Kevin Sumlin or at any time, it always just seemed like, all right, Arkansas's coming up. It's gonna be a crazy game, but they're always gonna win. Obviously, they got one in 2021, but what's this game like? It feels like this is obviously an old Southwest Conference matchup, things like that. But it always feels like this game is kind of crazy for like no real reason. I think last year the game swung on that KJ Jefferson fumble that was returned for a touchdown. It always seems like there's some type of like wild, crazy moments in this.
Yeah, it's just pure chaos. I mean, this game is the kind of game that takes you as a fan, and even more years off of your life as a player. It's just it's a lot to go through, and for some reason, like even if Arkansas is down or A&M's down, it seems like it's all very very tight game. I mean, sometimes you see the games go to overtime. I mean, it's just one of those games that weird things like that KJ Jefferson fumble last year always happen. Uh, to be honest with you, it's not fun to go through. It's you would much rather have a dominant win and get out of there
Sure.
unscathed. Just not the way this game plays out, and it's kind of why I think the rivalry between the fans has been kind of reignited, is because of the closeness of those competitions.
Jay, you mentioned earlier like feed the studs, and I'm wondering on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, maybe like has there been a guy on either side who has really taken you by surprise this year, or maybe you weren't expecting as much and has looked far better than you thought?
I mean, you look at a guy that I was expecting to do really well, and unfortunately has gotten hurt in Noah Thomas. But his similar receiver, a big-bodied guy in Ja'Day Walker that stepped up and played pretty well since the loss of Thomas. And then defensively, I think Torian York, as a true freshman, coming in and being pretty much the quarterback of that defense and stepping up and making plays as he has. I mean, it's hard not to be impressed with that guy. He's playing so far above what he was rated coming out of high school, and he's a guy that I liked a lot. I thought he was going to make an impact early, but I mean, even from that, it's just blown my expectations away.
Yeah. A little bit more on Torian York, because it always seemed like the A&M front was always a strength in the secondary, but it seems like it's been a while since that linebacking core had somebody as rangy as him to show as a freshman right now. That was one thing that I noticed, because the A&M had always gotten these highly touted guys, and you played along some highly touted guys when you were there, but it always seemed like they never, for whatever reason, could never get the best out of them, as opposed to the first and even the third level kind of being the strengths going through the past era, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you had a guy in Buddy Johnson that was really talented in that in between, but linebacker is a position that A&M should recruit. I think part of that goes to the state of Texas as well as just the linebacker position. It's not a flashy position. It's not a position that kids want to play like it used to be.
Yeah.
Guys either want to be in the secondary or do they want to be that the edge defender that's a pass rusher. So it's hard to recruit linebackers, and I think that's part of why A&M has struggled. But at the same time, I mean, they just haven't been able to put it together. So it's great to see a guy like Torian York step up.
All right, Jay, I know this is a crazy game, A&M Arkansas. Do you have a prediction?
Oh, man. So we just recorded the Aggie War Pod, and my was that, there's no way I can give a prediction because this game is just utter chaos.
Yeah.
But the final score that I decided on was 35-32 in favor of Texas A&M.
All right.
Okay.
Like
High scoring affair.
I could see it. Again, this game makes no sense. Like this game.
Well, and Arkansas has been putting up points. I mean, I think they've scored in both of their last two games against BYU and LSU.
Yeah.
And then A&M, I mean, defensively, you're going to struggle to contain KJ Jefferson just between the ability to break tackles and then get the ball downfield. 70% completion percentage last week against LSU. So he's not just a runner. Like he's also excellent at throwing the ball. I think you're going to see a lot of points put up in this game.
Yeah.
I think KJ Jefferson is like the first guy that comes to mind of people I would never want to tackle.
God, it looks like it hurts. Like it just looks like it
Yeah,
just
it does.
hurts. It's like he's gonna get 3 yards and it's gonna hurt. So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, how big is he? He's almost 250. Jesus, at least according to the Arkansas. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, that's a good. Who was your least favorite player to tackle? When you were playing?
Derrick Henry, easily.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh
Ooh,
man,
good
I forgot
point.
you played during that. Oh man, that's rough.
And that was true freshman Derrick Henry. That wasn't even final form Derrick Henry.
Yeah, have you ever? I was about to say you're going against a running back who's like your size. It's like I've never dealt with this before.
And much faster.
All right, last one before we let you go. This one's a little bit on the lighter side. Obviously, Wigman is out for the year now, but I saw some people messing with you on Twitter about his NIL deal. You're a Dukes man, and he signs Hellman's NIL deal. Did you have to make some calls? Say, hey, what happened here? Where'd the Dukes money come from?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a little bit disappointing to see. It's part of it, and I'm glad that he's getting it back because, I'm just still kind of bitter that I didn't get my NIL opportunities because it wasn't a thing yet when I was.
That's a good point. Well, like I said, Dukes will have you set up. It's all good. I'll make some calls for Dukes to get you that retrospective money. There you go.
Yeah, let me see if I can get eligibility in a different sport or
There
something.
you go. That'll work. All right, man. Jay, rest that voice up because we need you this weekend. Where are you at this weekend?
So actually, me and Mike are both going to be at Sam Houston State tomorrow night.
Nice.
And then I'll be kind of taking it easy on Saturday and resting and recovering.
There you go. Eat some lozenges, drink some tea, and you'll be ready to go for next week. So that's Jay Arnold, former defensive lineman for A&M. He proudly hosts the Aggie War Pod with Mike Craven on the Republic Football Network. Go ahead and give him a follow. Listen on this same feed if you are subscribed to ROF. Aggie War Pod drops every Wednesday. Is that right? About?
Usually, obviously, we had a little bit of a shakeup between my voice not being great
Sure.
and me traveling back from the whiteout, but should be out tomorrow. But normally it'll drop on Wednesday.
Cool. All right, man. Take care, buddy.
Thank you all for having me.